Okay, Merritt Brass. We consider ourselves the leading manufacturer of brass, stainless steel, chrome plated, and aluminum nipples. That is our cup of tea. You know, this is what brings us to the dance, is the nipples. And we have the master distributor of the pipes, valves, and fittings that go along with the nipples. We have over 200 people working for our company, and we are on our 4th generation now. So it's a good, small, family-run business, and that's the way we like it. We have 4 locations. Headquarters and manufacturing is all in Cleveland, Ohio. We have a distribution center in Sparks, Dallas, and our new one down in Birmingham, Alabama. I've been asking for 14 years for one in the Northeast, but I don't think it's going to happen. Product line enhancement. This is what we just we're coming out with this year is our swing, gate, and globe valves. Actually, we have them on order. They're on the water as we speak, so we should be getting them in pretty soon. November of 2013, last year, we came out with the galvanized ductile iron backup flanges. July 2012, we came out with the stainless steel flanged and ball valves. Carbon steel outlets we came out with in 2011, and carbon steel fittings. We expanded our line into carbon. That was something new for us. The thread tape that you guys have been distributing came in 2011, and then a lot of the other stuff. Even the stainless steel, the 3,000-pound welderlets and socklets, we've had them since 2010. A lot of people still don't know we have them. Good price on them also. Lead-free brass fittings and nipples. There you go. September 2009, we've been talking about it. So everybody should know about it by now. And then, you know, that's what we have done in the past. And we're always looking on how to expand our line. It seems to be we're expanding it more in stainless than we are in brass. Stainless, you know, kind of a dying commodity, even though there's still a heavy demand for it. We see our future in stainless. This is our technology. You guys are excellent with this. You're one of the better wholesalers that get involved with our technology. The Web Express, I think you all are on it and have passwords. Our website, we've done a great job updating our website. It's got a lot of information on it, user-friendly. Our lead-free also, we have a whole tab dedicated just to lead-free legislation, information, anything we could get from even other manufacturers' websites. We would copy and paste and put it on ours. State-of-the-art online MTR system, which I think also you guys use all the time. And EDI and VMI, that's kind of losing its strength. People are going more and more just to order directly from the internet rather than do the EDI or VMI. I think the VMI is still big at your level for your customers, but from a wholesaler to the manufacturer, that's kind of old stuff. Right? Communication, we have Twitter presence. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, I do have a Twitter account, by the way. I'm proud of that. I don't go on it. I don't look. I don't follow anybody, but I have one. I have one.
You
What's your
probably
Twitter
have
handle?
to vote on The Voice or something. That's the
No.
only reason my
No.
mom has one.
I don't
She
watch
needs to
reality
vote.
shows either. I'm not a TV guy, but we have a Facebook page. You know, they have a lot of fun with that. They keep them updated. I mean, you do get on the Facebook page. I know new products or any kind of price increase, they'll put it out that way. So, if you want to go on Facebook. Manufacturing capabilities. Again, you guys have probably ordered, you know, every one of these throughout the years. It's just the different threads that we're able to do with our nipples and our pipe. Machining process, just as a reminder, plain roll or cut, square ream, a ream and chamfer, Victolic groove or anvil groove. I was questioned at the AD account because anvil was there that we put up Victolic, so Gail felt bad. OD machining and pipe bending also. Merit with 76 years of procuring piping products. One thing we make a concerted effort is we only buy from certain manufacturers. A lot of times when you're buying overseas, you have to go through a broker. A lot of times that broker just buys it from anywhere he can buy it. Our president and our purchasing agent go out to the Far East at least twice a year. They visit the manufacturers, and we just buy from, there's a handful of manufacturers that we buy. We won't take products from anyone else. So it's consistency from you to your customer also. They know what they're going to get. Kingdom Industries, Siam, Thailand, and I think right now on stainless pipe, it's all coming from India. With the dumping charges, that's pretty much the only place the master distributors can buy it. So, you know, your customer will know that they're getting the same products month in and month out. And that's not always the case for competitors. All of our products meet or exceed all the applicable ASTM or ANSI standards. This is a little bit of an overview of, keep your eyes and ears open. This is the industries that the pipe spouts and fittings would tend to serve. Chemical, naturally, pulp and paper, you got a lot of customers with that. Power generations, pharmaceutical, food and beverage, even breweries. Wastewater treatment plants, you know, brass, they're getting, a lot of them are getting more into stainless now. Computer, aerospace, marine, waterworks, commercial residential plumbing, and any type of OEM manufacturing, and naturally the HVAC customers. Product specifications, again, this is the ASTMs. This is on our website, all this information. And also on the stainless, also. You know, we meet all the specifications, and you can get that info right off of our website. Reasons to use brass products. Well, brass always offered a better corrosion resistance from water and heat than, say, copper would. It also resists attacks from the salt water, acids, and any kind of minerals that are contained in the water. It's softer and it's much easier to work with. When you see a lot of your customers that are going from brass to stainless, first thing they complain about is it's so much more difficult to work with stainlesses because they're so used to brass, and brass is just a piece of cake to work with. It offers many of the same advantages of copper, just a little heavier fitting. Characteristics, again, it's primarily used for water and commercial plumbing. Can be used for oil, gas, and steam, but you know, 99% of the time it's carrying water. Brass came about because it was in the commercial code prior to copper tubing and fittings. You know, they kept thinking copper was the new get-all when they introduced it, and now you're getting away from copper. Now plastic is the key word. But there's still a big demand for brass, even though we're saying it is a dying commodity. There's still big demand for brass just for maintenance and repair purposes. Import cast brass fittings. This comes from Thailand, Siam. We've been dealing with them for well over, I guess, 30, 40 years. This is the chemical breakdown. We have 360 SKUs. We used to manufacturers. You have Thailand, you have Indonesia, which is Thai, and then you have China. Again, ours is strictly from Siam and Thailand, but that's just where you could see some competitor fittings. Lead-free. We have a full line of the lead-free brass, import and domestic, 125 pound and 250. I do have samples here of lead-free versus the leaded, and you can tell it's a little bit lighter in color, but that's the only way you would tell. And then, other than it has LF on it, it's embossed into the fitting. So, yeah, I got these, you guys can, as you're eating, here, I'll pass it. You can take a look at it just to see the difference in color. And you can see the LF on it. That's what we were talking about earlier. Housing inspector going to see whether that has LF on it, and different manufacturers of different fittings. Everybody in the brass fittings, I think they are staying with the LF or the NL. But I think Shark Bite has a picture of a little shark or something, and you know, there's a million designations out there, so how is an inspector supposed to know who is what? It's going to be very difficult to locate. And we have the domestic fittings also. Domestic fittings, there's only 2 manufacturers left, and that's New England Union up in Warwick, Rhode Island, and Lee Brass down in Anniston, Alabama. And I believe that Lee Brass will be going out of the leaded brass business. A lot of our competitors are getting out of the leaded business. We will continue to carry leaded and lead-free. We have a big commercial industrial division, and we do a lot of business through the industrial division, and they're the ones that need the leaded product. They don't have to have the lead-free, they're not going to pay for it, and they're going to stay with leaded. We do a lot more of the leaded brass fittings than a lot of our competitors. I think Trenton Pipe and Nipple is getting out of the leaded fittings. I think Matco Norca is getting out of the leaded fittings, and even Lee Brass on the domestic side is getting out of it. So you know, it's good for us. You know, we're limiting the competition, and hopefully we can continue to sell leaded fittings. I'm sure, like the rest of you, I'd love to sell domestic fittings all day long if we could. Brass nipples, again, primary size range, 1/2 through 4. But, you know, again, we won't make anything, you guys, any kind of size that you come up with, any kind of demand you get. We're pretty flexible with our specials. Red brass nipples, again, easier to machine, less brittle to work with, and more resistant to corrosion than yellow brass. Yellow brass is the stuff you see at the, a lot of times at the Home Depots and the Lowe's. It's just a cheaper type of brass. Just doesn't hold up as well. Brass pipe, you know, again, there's only one North American manufacturer left, and that's in Mexico. Most of it's coming from Thailand and Serbia. And again, you know, brass pipe, you guys, I think you stock a little bit of brass pipe. There's not many people that do. Very few. I think the industrial guys may stock a couple here and there, but you know, I know Larry, we had that big issue with our buddy that wanted to buy direct because nobody had the brass pipe that he wanted, so he kept calling us to go direct, and he got his.
We don't have brass pipe.
Chrome plated nipples, I threw that in there, not a big nut for you guys, but you know, we do have them. Reasons to use stainless steel. You know, again, cleanliness. Stainless steel fitting will look like this 30 years from now. Brass will tend to discolor and turn dark, you know, maybe a little bit of green, but you know, the stainless steel fittings, you know, it'll look like that for years to come. Prevention of contamination, it's a little bit better than brass from rust or scale, resist corrosive attacks. And when you're in an industrial plant, more of them will much rather have stainless than the brass. Greater strength at elevated temperatures, and characteristics. Well, most of the applications, you know, the engineers are going to tell you what they want. They want 304, they want 316. It's going to be on the spec. So engineering will determine the type of product. You know, primary, it's 304 to 316. We see much more 304 than we see 316. A lot of that has to do with price. The demand continues to grow worldwide with the lead-free brass. It's even growing even more because now you're having a lot of the plumbing contractors, because of price, go away from the lead-free and they're going into stainless.
John speaking.
Stainless steel 150-pound fittings. This is the chemical composition, 304 to 316. Big difference from 304 to 316 is the molybdenum, 2 to 3%. There is none in 304, it's only in the 316. So when you're seeing commodity prices, when you're seeing moly going through the roof, well, the 316 is going to go up. The price of that's going to go up. Available in the MSS SP114 pattern or the ISO pattern. Now the standard is the ISO pattern, and that's what you guys have been stocking for a long time. Now, the MSS, a few years back, it was getting to the point where all the manufacturers were having different specifications, and a lot of the end users and the engineers were getting thoroughly confused with, well, is this going to work, this what? So they got together and they wanted to make a one spec, and they called it the MSS SP114, and they did this years ago. And it didn't really take on until, I guess probably about 5-8 years ago. So what they did is they came out with a spec, and they asked that it would be heat treated. They wanted a special heat treatment on these fittings that would make them stronger and make them less corrosive. So that's part of the SP114 spec. There's no way you know whether this thing has gotten heat treated unless you take it and you take it to an independent lab. We've done that with some of our competitors. Some of them have been heat treated, some of them aren't. But what are you going to do? You don't know. It's buyer beware. Can you see the difference? The IDs are the same, but as you can see, the thicknesses are different. This is an SP114. It is thicker than the ISO pattern. So you can see the difference in that way. And it is listed, it's marked that it is the MSSP114. It's marked using the CF8 number, and they are embossed in there. It's more, it costs more, it's a premium, depends on, a lot of the paper mills will specify the SP114, only because they want to make sure that, it's an upgrade and they get the same thing time in and time out, but you won't see a lot of specifications for it, but you may get some of your industrial people ask about it, especially if an engineer is throwing it as an option.
So your customer would really ask for that. You wouldn't just
You wouldn't
select that.
sell it to them. No. It would be an engineer design that does it for them. The engineer would be aware of it. And as I said, it's the only really big difference, other than the size, the weight, is the heat treatment. It is treated, so it's supposed to be a little bit better. But it's a standard size, so at least the ID is. But you can see it's a little thicker. People like the thicker fitting. Now there is a fitting out there also. There is an ISO fitting, and we talked a little bit about this at the AD Summit. There's a thin-walled fitting out there. It's an ISO 4144 fitting. And again, the manufacturers, our manufacturer told us they weren't making that much money manufacturing these fittings. They had much more success manufacturing the thin-walled fittings. So they wanted us to start marketing the thin-walled fittings. We refused them. We didn't like the fitting. It was too thin, and just it really cheapened up the fitting. However, you're seeing an awful lot of this material in the marketplace now, especially with the plumbing contractors that are going from brass to stainless. They don't care. All they wanted to do is last a year and a day. So they're taking in this thin-walled material because it's cheaper. It's less expensive. So when you are into a competitive situation, be aware that there is a thin-walled fitting out there. And somebody could be saying, hey, you're getting your socks blown off by XYZ. Well, you have to say, well, what kind of fitting they offering you? Because we've had customers return the thin-walled fittings to their different manufacturers because it was no good. Just a bad fitting out there. So be aware that there's really 3 types of fittings out there. 2 ISOs and an MS SP114. You're probably going to see more of the thin-walled fitting than you will the MSS. But just be aware that it's out there. And even, when you have customers that return product, be careful. Because, they'll they'll just, you know, they'll dump them all in and you get stuck with them. So,
Yours all have the MB on it though,
absolutely.
regardless.
We're embossed MB in it, you know, no matter what. And the thin wall fittings, I mean, I've seen them, they're bad. It looks like you could really take a screwdriver and put a hole in it. You know, I think didn't Jim have a couple?
I don't know, that was a question somebody had asked me the other week as we continue to fight the fight on some of our customers of whether we had some
Yeah,
samples.
I had a problem with one of my, especially Fab. They were complaining my couplings were so expensive, stainless steel couplings. I'm like, well, mine are bar stock, you're probably buying the thin wall. So I got him some regular. Well, his were even thinner, you know, and I'm like, well, that's why, look at the difference. I mean, well, I don't need them. I was like, well, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to get bar stock, but look at that other crap, you know, I mean, and he agreed, you know, yeah, they were junk, you know, but it was, you know, he said his guys didn't know, they look at price, you know, is what they did, and
A lot of the
I said, yeah,
purchasing guys just look
yeah.
at price, and then when it
my
gets
bar
down on
stock
the floor.
naturally are gonna be a lot more. I said, look at them though, I mean, it's,
Right.
you know,
Right.
you want something that's gonna hold up, you want something you can just, you know, put in.
Yeah. Well, we actually have two kind of couplings now on the stainless steel because again, our manufacturer was complaining about the couplings. Apparently, they really lose money on couplings. So the coupling, we have two. We have the standard size, and then we have couplings that we make out of Schedule 80 pipe. So I mean, it's thinner, but it's made out of Schedule.
Is that where
80
you
pipe,
go
which
from your
works on.
150 versus 1,000?
No.
That's
No.
different than that? Okay.
Yeah, that's different. And this is, if you look on our price sheet, if you look on our website, or under couplings, there's a standard coupling, and what do they call it?
I kinda remember seeing it, but I don't
One
remember,
did,
yeah.
Yeah, we came out with a thinner, made it out of pipe, you know, so, you know, it's strong, but it is thinner, but it's made out of Schedule 80, so it's a little bit strong. But yeah, but be careful when your customers tell you that, you know, well, you know, you're getting killed on price. You shouldn't be getting killed on price. Only if they have a much cheaper material. Again, 150-pound fittings. You know, it's scrap. You know, it's basically, and it's poured into a sand or investment casting. You know, the difference being the bar stock fitting where it's made out of bar. You know, less porosity. You know what's in it. Whereas that scrap, you don't know where they're going to get that from. You know, the bar stock is a much better fitting, but the price. And you guys move a lot of bar stock. You guys move more bar stock than any one of my customers.
Good.
Yeah. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. 3,000-pound threaded and socket weld fittings. Again, produced from forgings and the billets. This is for high pressure situations in conjunction with the Schedule 80 pipe. When you have to have critical applications where, you know, you can't afford to have any leakage, a lot of times you'll see people go to these fittings. They'll pay the price for them. Again, this is a bid spec type of. You see this on a job quote. That's about it. Again, this is the chemical composition and the OLEDs, socket weld, threaded, and butt weld. Butt weld fitting, basically it's just cut from pipe, so it's going to have the same chemical composition as pipe. We also have Type A and Type C stub ends. Don't move a lot of them, you know, very rare. You know, maybe some Type Cs, but very rare do we see many stub ends moving, at least in the Northeast. I don't know why. Maybe it's me. That's what they keep telling me in Cleveland. Maybe it's you. Where do you use the butt weld fittings? You know, again, low cost, highly corrosive, extreme vibration. So you'd want to have them welded rather than just screwed in. Low pressure and low temperature. Largest user, again, is the pulp and paper industry. You know, and that seems to be every year we're getting more and more moving overseas. We get less and less of that. MSS flanges, we do have them. There's more of the ANSI flanges now. Difference being the ANSI flange has a little lip on it that you can put a gasket on it. It seals much better. And when ANSI flanges first came out, the price was twice the MSS flange. So everybody kind of stayed with that. But now the price has gone down to where the ANSI is probably the same. So you really shouldn't be selling any of these. And if they ask for it, you know, you should try and move them over to the ANSI flange instead.
I've seen that on flanges before, that ANSI. Like, and I never knew why it was on there, if it was like the way it would, where it came from, or so. What's
Well, the ANSI is
purpose of that?
an ANSI standard. They upgraded the standard, and like I said, they put that little lip on it so that you can put a gasket on it. That's the difference between the ANSI flange and the MSS flange. So it's a much tighter seal.
You mean the face of the flange?
Yeah,
Is that
and-
the
yeah,
raised
there's-
face of the flange?
Right,
you mean?
there's a little lip or something on there, and you can put a gasket on there. Whereas the MSS flange is just flat, it doesn't have that.
Oh.
But yeah, the ANSI flange is, I think it's heavier, and the chemical composition is a little better.
Yeah, because I thought it was a heat number sometimes, and I saw it, I was like, no, that can't be.
No, it's a standard number, yeah, ANSI standard.
And that's an engineering standard, right?
Correct, correct,
Similar to ASTM,
TM, right.
just different groups
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
different standards.
Yep, yep. American, used to know them.
There's two.
American National Standard Industries, I think it is. If I could take a shot at it. But yeah, you're gonna see more. Yeah, there you go. They're unique and they have a raised face on the interior portion. Provides a better sealing property with a gasket.
So really, if somebody's buying that, we should be upselling the gaskets.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Always thinking, aren't you, Lisa?
You know, it's funny, you do it just as a reaction. I mean, you don't think about it, but I'll bet you, you know, if you get down there, you're selling the gaskets with them. They have to use the gaskets, so if they don't have them in stock, they're gonna be buying them all.
I think it's 50/50.
What, that they buy it and sometimes they don't?
Yeah, the gaskets. Sometimes they say I already have the bolts in the gaskets.
Do we already have that in the system where we have the gaskets automatically come up?
No, it's stainless.
I think
I
they
don't
can
think
buy
they- I
kits,
don't
don't
think
they?
they do.
Don't they buy kits with the bolts and the gaskets together?
Yeah, some places.
They'll
have that.
order it like that. Ours, we do the gaskets and the bolts that separately.
Right.
But lots of times, even if you ask them, they say they already have. It's
A lot of those
50/50.
places do store.
Yeah, sometimes they
Yeah,
already
they have
have
them.
them.
Yeah, they
Store
stock,
rooms.
stock their, what type of gaskets they
They
want, what
want
they
it
use
in
all the
their
time.
box.
Right, and they buy them in bulk.
Right.
Yeah,
But it doesn't hurt to have that as an upsell feature
Yeah.
in the system that we can.
I don't think it is on
remember.
the stainless.
I don't think it is either.
Stainless.
Something good came out of the meeting. There you go.
I'm getting a lot, Dennis, I don't know.
That means
I
you weren't
must have been
listening at the
sleeping at the
AD
AD one or something.
Stainless steel pipe, again, you know, right now with stainless steel pipe, there's big issues, there's big problems. With the dumping charge, you can't buy pipe from China, you can't buy it from Malaysia, you can't buy it from Vietnam, and all the the masters are running around trying to find where we can, you know, get some pipe, and it seems like everybody's right now in India. There's 2 or 3 manufacturing plants in India that are pretty much supplying the whole world, and they can't do it. They just don't have, you know, the technology, and they don't have the volume that they can supply. So what you're seeing now is you're starting to see holes in the inventories. There's not as much stainless steel pipe on the ground now. So you're going to see problems supplying it. You're going to start seeing the price eventually start going up. But demand or supply is going to be a big problem. I don't think the supply is here to fit the demand. We're running out of holes. We got some pipe coming in June. You know, I've quoted some jobs recently where we're telling them June, July delivery. So be careful with pipe. You know, there is an issue. It's going to, prices are going to go up, and there's going to be times when you're going to be short.
So you're saying the other places just don't have it anymore? And that's why you're getting it on?
There's a dumping charge. The domestic manufacturers have filed a lawsuit against the foreign companies because they were bringing pipe in our company and they were dropping the price. They were dumping it in at a price lower than our domestic guys could manufacture it. So they filed a lawsuit, so the first thing they do is they stop all pipe from coming in. And for us, if we were buying a pipe, we would get fined also. So, you know, everybody runs like hell away from them.
Crazy.
Right, right. And this has been going on for a while. This is the second dumping suit in what, 10 years, I guess. Nothing good comes out of it. You know, the domestic guys, to be honest with you, they can't handle the volume.
Right.
You know, and they're having a, we put a quote into a domestic guy the other day, and he told us, August, well, you know, if you can't supply the volume, you gotta let the imports
Yeah.
come in. But, you know, again, you know, this is our system, and this is how it's working. So, as a master, we're trying to run all over the world trying to find it. And right now, India is the only one that everybody's going there. We're going there, McCarter's going there, Global's going there, Texas Pipe's going there, Tachen's going there. They're all running to the same places. So, it's a problem. You know, and I don't know how fast these suits, it's been going on for 2 years now, this one suit. But, yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue.
See, now there's another thing that you can tell your customers when they're
Yeah.
griping that it's,
Not there.
and that's gonna drive price up just based on economic principles of
Need.
supply and demand. Low supply, high demand, prices can go up.
It just always blew my mind though. I mean, we're right here in the USA and we can't even, our domestic prices are so much higher, you know, than the foreign. And to me, it doesn't make sense because they've got to ship it in and all that
Labor.
stuff.
It's
and-
labor. It's all labor.
Yeah, you know, whereas we're right here and it's still,
It's
Yep.
labor.
yeah,
Yep, yep.
And they're still making probably a bigger profit on those lower prices
yeah,
than American firms.
Everybody's making money.
yeah.
The thing that you want to do with your customer also in these times is you need to ask them to try to plan. You know, because our customers, you know, they hate
Yeah.
to plan.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, they
Yeah,
call
I
you up
do
and
too.
say, I needed it
Wow.
yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and it just doesn't happen that
You're
way.
you're expecting everything, you know. What are you trying to say, Dennis?
I was gonna say, you work with some of the mechanicals for a little bit.
Yeah, they don't plan. They don't want to plan. And you ask them and they won't plan.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
they can't.
well, it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like a forecast. You know, we all sit here and we all try to forecast what we're going to do next year.
Right.
How do we know? It's a guess. You make it your best educated guess. Instrumentation tubing, you guys get a little bit into this. You know, we have the sizes 1/8 through 1 in 035, 049, and 065, 083, 095, and 109. We have very little. I think your majority of the market is the 035, 049. Again, we ship this with pipe. We actually, what we do is we put this inside the pipe, you know, because that's the best way to ship it without getting damaged. And, you know, again, process plants, paper mills, medical facilities, wineries, breweries. You know, wineries and breweries keep coming up. They seem to be, that's what's growing. I mean, that little micro brewery and all, we seem to be getting more and more of them and less of the paper mills and stuff like that. We're becoming a specialty manufacturing country. You know, if you go into mass production, you know, we're just not good at that anymore. But we're good at the specialty manufacturing, and I think that's where we're seeing our future. Because you're seeing, you keep reading in the paper that more manufacturers, smaller manufacturers are coming back to the U.S. because we can do it here now, and they don't have the shipping because the shipping's getting expensive. So, you know, but you know the mass production, not going to be here. Stainless steel nipples again. You know, this is basically just pipe. You know, we thread them. We have TOE nipples. We go from 8 to 4 inch, but you know, we can go bigger than that. You know, whatever you guys get. Fully traceable blanks. We cut them from mill lengths of piping. We machine each end, and we stamp them where we can stamp them, and we die stamp them at the closed nipples. So you can always go back and find out if there's a problem. Stainless steel ball valves. Again, this is, I mean, the ball valves aren't new. We've had them for a while, but we're expanding our line now. Before we just had these ball valves, now we're getting swings, gates, and globes coming in. These are from our manufacturer, Kingdom Industries in China. You know, we have 1, 2, and 3-piece, and we also have the flanged end. This is something new that we got in. Nice cutaway on a flanged end ball valve. You know, it's a competitive line. Now, I know you guys do a lot of domestic valves, and that's great. You know, don't get me wrong. As I said earlier, I'd sell domestic every day. But if you're in a situation, a competitive situation, take a look at the line. You know, I think we can help you on a competitive situation.
What size do they go up to?
6 inches. The flanged end, yeah, half inch and a half through 6.
Dennis, on gates and globes and stuff you're coming out with, they're only gonna be 150s, you're gonna have like 800s and stuff in those too?
I don't think at first. I
Okay,
think we're walking before we run
okay.
to see what kind of play we get, because you know we're not valve
I know
guys.
it's gonna be strictly 150s for now then?
Yeah, I think so.
probably?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You guys don't deal with butterflies at all though?
No.
Right.
No, not yet, not yet. At least that's what they're telling me. See, we're looking, how can we expand our business? Well, as we said earlier, brass is probably a dying commodity, so look at the stainless. Instrumentation tubing, you know, brass or stainless pipe, that market has exploded for us. Ball valves, that's another market. Carbon, expand your carbon line. But you have to, like with the carbon, we only brought in the 2,000 and 3,000 pound. We didn't bring in all the nipples and everything else, because this 2,000 and 3,000 pound, we buy it from Bothwell, who we buy our 3,000 pound stainless from. So it's a no-brainer, you can just add it on with ours. That's why we kind of pigeonholed that and
Right.
limited it to just the 2,000 and 3,000. We don't want to be a carbon manufacturer. That's not our cup of tea. We talked about going into carbon pipe. Don't want to do that. We talked about going into malleable fittings. You know, I was one of the first ones that said you don't want to go anywhere near malleable fittings.
Yeah.
You know that's my plumbing background. But you know, stainless is where we're going to be able to expand. And the ball valves, Kingdom Industries actually came to us and said, you know, you're buying the 150 pound fittings from us. We make money on it, but we don't make a lot of money on it. We make more money on ball valves. Can you sell our ball valves? So we went looking in and we went around and said, can we and can we move them? So we started bringing in their ball valves. And that's who we're expanding the swing closing checks with also. So they manufacture them for Europe, all over Europe. And they've been, you know, wanting to partner with us in the United States. So we're giving it a shot. But there's a lot to learn. A lot to learn with ball valves, as you guys know. More than is the flanged end ball valve again. It's a built-in mounting pad for easy automation. Blowout-proof stem. I think these are all pretty much standard in the flanged end ball valves. The TFM 1600 seats. It's a modified PTFE. PTFE, it's also that the stainless steel tape that we sell you. It's PTFE tape. You know, again, it's like a nickel infused tape. It's much stronger, and that's what they make the seats out of. So again, it's you know, I have a sample here. It's an excellent valve, and it can be competitive, and I think that's where, you know, our growth can be. You know, we're not a valve guy. We don't expect you to stock millions of them, but if we can help you on a job, one-by-one basis.
That's another thing for us sales folks. Their stainless tape, I have a lot of people that try dope and different things and leaks, and then once they use their stainless tape, they love it. They say it's so much easier.
It's expensive, but
Yeah.
it works.
But, you know, after you tell them to use it, they keep buying it. You know, it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you get guys all the time calling saying, I can't get this thing to stop leaking, can't get it to stop leaking. Sell them that, and ever since then it's been fine. So that's an upsell just for you guys though.
Well, you know, it's tape. You have to use the right tape, and you have to use the right dope. Sometimes you have to use both. You know, the contractor has to kind of, it's a hit and miss type of thing, see what works for him. Sometimes guys will just use tape, other guys just use dope. We've had manufacturing guys say, I'm not taking any chance, I'm doing both. But they have to find out what works, but they should be able to stop it, it should work. And they can't crank it down like they do on brass. You know, brass, they get them guys, you know, with the big arms, and they want to give it one more shot just to make sure. You do that on stainless and it's going to leak, like I said. There's the tape that we just talked about. carbon steel fitting outlets, we talked a little bit about this. We have 2,000, 3,000 pound fittings. I think your market is probably more 3,000 pound. I don't think you see a lot 2,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's a lot
One
down.
customer,
I think that's a lot down in the oil patch.
CSI, equals 2,000 all the time.
Aces is 50/50.
Are they?
And also, oh, I can't go back. Okay. Yes, I can.
Yeah, you can.
The OLEDs, really competitive. It's a good price on the carbon steel OLEDs. So, you know, if you're in a competitive situation,
And there's not a standard on the OLEDs, right? From manufacturer to manufacturer, the run sizes are different, right?
well, I'll be honest with you, it's all Bothwell. You go look at us, we buy it from Bothwell, Anvil buys it from Bothwell. Most of the import are coming in from Bothwell. There isn't a lot of other manufacturers, so it's a high standard Bothwell. It makes an unbelievable
But,
product. And so you're really not gonna have a hard time with different manufacturers because
To answer your question, yes, pen sizes run different than what their
Right,
sizes
okay,
run.
that's what it
domestic
was,
runs
okay.
different. Domestic,
Yeah.
see, I don't know
Okay.
the domestic versus
Yeah.
the import. They run different, the
Yeah.
domestic does.
I think
Bonnie,
the
what do you
stainless
have,
is
Bonnie
even
and Penn?
And,
And their domestic from domestic is different within a domestic.
that I'm not sure about, but I know marriage
Pretty sure.
versus
Really?
pen is, yeah.
So in domestic, like if you went to Bonnie and you went to Penn, you probably have a
I
different.
think it is, because I think I looked into it once.
And they flip it or something.
Well, not only that, but their sizes of the size of
Yeah,
pipe
like
that it
one
would
guy
go
likes-
to, or.
Yeah, 2-inch might go to fit to like 8-inch pipe, and then yours might go to only 6-inch or something. And
I
then
got you.
Then others will go to like 36, while theirs will only go to 12 or so. It's
Makes
confusing.
it hard to do
Yeah.
great products.
I think stainless is even
Description.
worse. Stainless is all over.
So
the
it's
place.
tough to mix and match.
Yeah.
And that would be tough in a competitive situation if the guy's used to Penn and you bring in Bothwell, you know,
We just have to make sure we order the size for
gotta
their
make sure
pipe.
the
But
size, right?
half the time the guys don't know, so we kind of
Yeah,
guess there
yes.
too, you know.
Yeah.
Always buying all 4-inch pipes.
Well,
so
give me
I guess
the
we go
usual.
4-inch, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it scary? The guys don't know.
Yeah, give me the usual.
Yeah, I don't know, or they'll say, I've never been asked that question
Or
before.
we'll be out of them, and I'll just tell them,
Seriously.
good water can make it work. They say, okay.
I love it. Just give me the usual. We used to get that all the time. Ductile iron backup flanges, just be aware we do have them. You know, again, not really a big mover, but we do have them, and we do have them in galvanized also, not just the ductile iron. And that'd be it. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
How comes like I have a couple times people ask me for chrome, and you guys only carry nipples, that's it?
No, we chrome fittings. We have
Yeah.
chrome fittings.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking at me for?
I'm thinking aluminum, ain't I?
Probably.
Aluminum, yes, we just have aluminum nipples.
Aluminum, that's what I'm thinking
Aluminum
of.
pipe and aluminum nipples.
No
They're asking
fittings.
for aluminum fittings?
Threaded aluminum fittings up to 4-inch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go?
So Latrobe's the only one that has them, and they usually don't have them.
Really?
Yeah, they usually don't.
Or they're
don't know what it has,
usually
but they don't
8 to
have it.
13 weeks
Yeah,
out.
Latrobe's the
No.
only one that's.
Not a big mover, huh?
Yeah, and I always thought it was weird because you guys had the nipples, but you didn't have the fittings, and I was, just,
We
Well-
buy the pipe and we cut the nipples.
yeah,
Well,
It's
a lot-
easy for us,
a
but
lot of people
there's
have
not that
them.
big of a demand to bring in
right.
fittings. You know, we can bring in the pipe and cut it. And
You can find aluminum weld fittings too, but you can't find aluminum threaded. That's the problem. Aluminum
Yeah.
threaded's
really,
tough. Yeah. The Trube Foundry's about the only one. I mean, once in a while you can find a couple of this and that here and there, but
they probably make good money on it too.
yeah.
'Cause they're
Yeah,
the
but then
only
their
one.
lead times are like,
Yeah, the way out.
yeah.
Well, not a big demand.
Actually, they're
they
cheap.
probably run 'em.
They're cheap compared to everyone else. Because how about them last ones? They were like $40, and the next guy was like 200. I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's a big.
Any other questions? How about the 150 fittings? You understand the SP 114 versus the standard ISO, and then that thin walled fitting?
Mhm.
Okay. Got any questions? Let me know. Give me a holler.
Paula's been doing a wonderful job. She's.
I always tell him that. He knows.
I get that every place I go.
Yeah.
Paula is she's a big asset. She's great. You know, her
I don't know, is
personality.
Michael Myers still there? Michael? Mills,
Michael Mills.
Yeah, Michael
Michael
Mills.
Mills.
Oh my God.
I told him that too.
Yeah.
He's all right some days.
He's nice, but he's just way over there.
You know, if you can talk to Paula, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's pretty good out there, I think.
I usually just email her.
Yeah, it's great to email her because then, you
Yeah.
know, she can get back to you because sometimes on a phone call, you know.
I mean, I try to check everything I can on the website first.
Right.
And,
Yeah, Paula's she needs a little decaf sometimes, but other than that, it's nice to hear.
I'd love to meet her in person sometime.
Oh, she'd love to come
I
out.
think we all would.
Yeah.
When I keep saying that, you know, I'm doing this or I'm doing a lunch and learn, she goes, oh, can I go? Can I go? They'll never let you go. You know. But,
Well,
yeah.
Tara, we were asking
Well,
about
maybe
her.
we'll get Alan sometime when he's really relaxed or something.
You mean after you had a bottle of wine?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They're so short-handed out there.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the problems with, we hear the economy's getting better, and we do see some things getting better, but you haven't seen the companies starting to rehire the people back. And that's what's really dragging the
Yeah.
economy. I mean, we're just not getting back to, we're comfortable enough to hire people full-time. We're seeing business pick up, companies are making money, but nobody has really gotten back into the hiring mode yet. And that's what we need.
It's because it's not a consistency there yet.
And I don't know if the consistency's there, but the confidence isn't there.
Right.
You know, you're seeing, I mean, we're going up. Not big, but we're going up, but they don't have the confidence that we're gonna continue to grow.
Stay up.
They keep hearing the doom and glooms.
We're gonna. It's gonna work.
Oh, we're good. I
You
see
live
it.
in a little dream world, they seem.
I'm with you. I think we dropped, we're on our way back. We may have some stops and starts, but I think we're on the right track.
What? After the next presidency, you'll see
We're
things
not
go
going
up.
to